The next topic under the fundamental concepts is a topic of zero trust. Zero trust is what we're going to talk about, control plane and data plane. Just before we dive into zero trust, as you can tell on the image, don't trust anybody. And this is even more important in cybersecurity. So zero trust is a security model based on the principle of never trust, always verify. It requires verification for every person or device trying to access a resource, regardless of their status. It's not because you have the latest Mac or because you're located in X location that we are going to trust you or that you have been in the organization for 10 years. No, never trust, always verify. So zero trust requires users and devices to be authenticated, authorized, and continuously validated before being granted access. It's not a one-time thing. So there is the control plane. The control plane decides who or what can access resources, and there's a data plane. Data plane enforces the decisions and how data handles within the network. The control plane is like controlling who can access which resource, what device, what system, which user. Data plane enforces the decisions and handles how data moves within the network. So first you have the control plane. Control plane is responsible for making security-related decisions. For example, here you have adaptive identity management. I think it's the first one right here. Adaptive identity management. So what is this? This is the control plane dynamically adjusting access based on the user identity and context. So it uses factors like where the device is based, which type of device it is. Remember with the NAC, the behavior, you have threat scope reduction. So you minimize the attack surface by limiting access to resources based on least privilege to limit the impact of a breach. So you minimize the attack surface. The attack surface is like you have multiple servers, multiple devices, and you try to limit access to them externally from the network. You only show a small part to the external network. You minimize the attack surface. You minimize the areas on which the cyber criminal can perform an attack. You have policy-driven access. So here, the access is based on predefined policies. So you set policies beforehand, and whatever happens within the network, within the organization, follows the policies, the predefined policies. And you have a policy administrator and engine. So here are components of the control plane that create and enforce policies and make real-time decisions on access. So it's based on context, it's based on some risk assessments, elements and results. And here the control plane creates and enforces the policies. That was the control plane. Next, you have the data plane. So the data plane is there to enforce the decisions that were initially set by the control plane. And you have first implicit trust zones. So implicit trust zones, these are here data plane will enforce segmentation of the network and control traffic between trust zones so that even within the trust zones, access is verified. So it's not because a user has access to the network. For example, traditionally into a network, you had like one firewall. Once a user got inside, they could get into the network. Now, when you get into the network, you have multiple other firewalls such that you can access this area, but not necessarily this area. So even within a trusted network, there are other smaller trusted zones that you cannot access everywhere without your access being verified. You have subjects in system. So entities and devices requesting access. The data plane ensures that only the verified subjects or the users and systems and the devices, so the verified entities can access the network. That's the role of the data plane. So they enforce decisions made by the control plane. Here they ensure that only those that are verified users, systems, devices can access the network. And you have a policy enforcement point. So this is the component that enforces access made by the control plane. So they are responsible for enforcing decisions that were created in the control plane at the policy administrator and engine. So that's an overview of the zero trust model. Never trust, always verify, even within a network, even once someone has got inside, split the network into multiple parts and make sure that access is always verified and uh, continuously verified. Yeah.
All right, guys, was that interesting? Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trust me, you will not regret it. Also follow us on our various social media platforms, including Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and more, to be the first to know about the awesome content that we're prepping for you guys. Thank you for your attention.